So, welcome to the live stream. This is a very, very interesting experiment where I will try to combine the live streaming capabilities of YouTube, and actually I'm also broadcasting at the same time to Facebook. So this is a dual stream that I'm doing with this new kind of software called Streamlabs. And somebody's picking the door. It's called StreamYard, it's actually called. And so this will be very exciting to see how that pans out. And I have a very exciting show planned for you guys. We will be, first, I want to show you a significant upgrade that I've been doing to the lighting here in the studio. Second, I'm going to show you some of the tracking capabilities of the Skydio 2 drone. And finally, we're going to hear a story about how a GoPro was lost in the heat of the battle when a good friend of mine was out filming. And you probably already guessed, maybe from the description, that I'm invited a guest to join me here tonight because I don't own the Skydio 2 myself. So a big warm welcome to my good YouTube friend, Sean Ozz. So let's just bring him in. Hey, Sean.
Hey. How's it going, Henrik?
It's going fine. Nice of you to be here tonight.
It's always a pleasure, man. Love hanging out.
It will be interesting to see how it pans out. You have been using StreamYard for a while, but you never tried to stream to two sources at two destinations at one time.
No, I haven't. I've only just focused on YouTube since I don't really support my myself and my channel on Facebook the way I probably should.
But I have a dedicated group, as you know, like the Tech Drone Media discussion group, and I always wanted to include that as part of this live streaming activity, sort of to tie everything a little bit together. So this is the first attempt of doing that. That's
awesome. And afterwards, you'll have to let me know how the Facebook stream worked out. I'm curious.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you, I've been thinking that I need to go spend some money and buy actual glasses that have the glare-proof lenses because I can't read the comments without them.
All right, so let's kick off this live stream by playing back the video that I recorded updating the lights in my studio. So my studio light is long overdue for an update. So I just want to show you what I'm using right now. This is a Hangout LED light panel, quite small one. And I put this cardboard grid in front of it because I didn't want the light to spill too much to the sides. So today we're going to upgrade that one. So let's just give ourselves a little bit more working light here. So now you can see it. And that one has been working quite well for a while, but now I decided to upgrade for something better. So I upgraded for the Falcon RX-12t, which is basically a LED panel with a softbox in front of it. And I had to buy it as two parts. There's the LED panel and the grid that goes in front of it. And what I will get with that setup is the same effect as I have with the cardboard here, that the light doesn't spill on the sides. Let's find out what's inside. Almost like Christmas. That's pretty advanced. See? So this is the actual light panel. RX-12t. That is 5,500 Kelvin, which should equal normal daylight. So this is a kind of a nice, it's not as big as the Big Brother, but it's still a pretty nice size. And it can be wrapped around like that. There's a grid that will keep it up, spread out. I should just do like this so you can better see what's going on. So let's fast forward and get everything unpacked. It's not like it's a big mystery. There's a power supply down here. This is a power supply. It's pretty neat. It's actually not as heavy as I thought it would be. There's an attachment here that will allow me to strip on a battery if I want to take it on the road. That's not quite relevant for me with this setup. And what else do we have in here? There's some Velcro stuff. There's a mount that will allow it to mount it on a tripod. Supply, so I would expect those will go together. So we have all the components that we need. So now let's upgrade this setup and let's see how it looks. I would probably need to clean this up a little bit afterward. But see, the power supply is just dangling here, and the connection here for the panel. And then let's hook up some power. Now we're ready to try and fire it on for the first time. That's pretty bright and harsh light. But that's why we have the softbox. Let's just mess around with that for a while. I'm actually happy that I didn't buy the big one because this one is really huge. Diffusion fabric, that will make a big difference. The whole idea with the diffusion material is to make the light a lot softer. So you see, if I just do like this, compared to this. I don't know if you can see it, but at least that's the idea. As far as I know, there is diffusion material included in the original light, but I bought this this additional grid, because I would want to minimize the light spill from the softbox. It's a grid like this. I'm sorry, my son, he's just building something. We are a builder family, so no, he's more builder than me, but he's busy in his room making stuff, improving his the features in his room. So that's pretty nice. This was the installation of the softbox. Then let's switch to the primary camera so you can see what it actually looks like. Now we're back on the main camera, the Sony a7 III, and with the 24mm f1.4 prime lens. And as you can see, the scenery doesn't look anything like you're used to seeing with the old lighting. So we need a little bit of tweaking here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to adjust the brightness of this softbox, maybe a little bit down, so it's not so harsh on my face. And then we're going to turn on the lamp that you know in the background, the one up there. And And then I have some other lamps that I need to activate. So there's like a fill light from this side. And what else do we have? There's a rim light here somewhere. That's there. The rim light will fill in here on the shoulders. So let's just summarize. What do we have in this lighting setup? Of course, it needs a little bit more tweaking because this video is just shot right out of the box. So I need some time to adjust all the parameters. But let's just see what we have here. We have the Falcon Eyes RX-12t, which is basically only a single color light. The only thing that I can do with that one is to adjust the brightness up and down. It's around 5500 Kelvin, and that equals to a normal daylight. On my right side up there, I have a key light, and that is a small LED panel. I can't remember the brand of it. I think it's a newer, but I will link that in the description below in case that you're interested. The idea with that light is that it sort of fills in the right side of my face. Here on the back side, up there, there's something called a rim light. This rim light will sort of add a little bit of glow to the head and also to sort of the side of me, which adds in a nice effect. Finally, I have the light on up on the closet, and that one is just to make it cozy. The other colors that are being added here to the studio is a light strip that goes behind the desk, and also one up here that goes behind the cupboard. So this video was an idea to do an experiment. I just wanted to film something. This is of course an upgrade of my studio. And the idea now is that this video will transition into a live stream in 3, 2, 1, now. So now I'm back. So I noticed that the audio was a bit out of sync towards the end. I'm sorry about that. So let's just bring Sean back here.
Hi guys. I was moving my arm here. Backed it up yesterday. Caught me off guard.
There was a comment that the old light was looking better than the new one. Yeah, I also spent a fair amount of time tweaking that one, but I was so annoyed about looking at this cardboard setup every time I went into my studio. So I decided to buy the new one. And if you decide to watch the video that I made where I made a wrong assumption about slow SD cards in your drone, you would see the real power of the new lighting, how good that actually looks. And I'm not done tweaking it yet, so it will be even better in the future. So that was sort of the first point in this live stream. And now we are moving on to the second point, which I'm very, very excited to share with you guys, because I've been seeing Sean doing some pretty crazy stuff with his Skydio 2. And you know, I'm pretty envious because the Skydio is not being sold in Europe. So I just have to watch all the beautiful videos being done with that drone in the US. But it's really a game changer in terms of the camera technology that's on board. And we can only dream about what this will make DJI do in the future. But right now, there's no drone that avoids obstacles in a way that the Skydio 2 does. And maybe, Sean, you would comment a little bit on your experience with the Skydio 2.
You know, people keep wanting to compare the Skydio to the Mavic Zoom or the Mavic Air 2, and there is really no comparison because they are completely different styles of drones. Yes, you can fly the Skydio with a controller, but because it is so limited as a Wi-Fi drone, it can only go so far. So that's where stuff like the Mavic Air 2, the Mavic Zoom, or any of the OcuSync type drones will dominate the Skydio when it comes to that. However, everything else, the Skydio pretty much dominates the Mavic line. And I say that because of the 6 sensors. I wish I had it here to show you, but there's 6 sensors that actually map out the world environment around it.
You said something pretty controversial at some point. You said that everybody's getting this drone wrong because everybody is so focused on the tracking and how good it does that. But also, when it avoids obstacles, it is a bit choppy, and because it has to compensate for all the stuff that it goes by. Yes. And this is not really where the strengths are. You have tried some stuff that really shows where the strengths are.
And honestly, I think the problem is you see so many people don't chop up their footage. So they'll go out and they're tracking themselves. And the Skydio it's very quick to, I can show you some footage if you want in a little bit, to
Yeah.
reposition itself. So if you're tracking someone and something is there, it's going through the trees and then it repositions itself. So it's quick, it's sudden. And typically those are the kind of things we don't show in our drone videos. We will chop out those reposition things, and a lot of people leave that in. So I found when tracking yourself, depending on what you're doing, if you point it to one spot, let it go for 30 seconds, whatever, in that spot, point it in another spot, do that, and then you can chop it together and you won't get that weird movement. Because when you're tracking yourself, the beacon, you just sort of point it and push a button. You point it at the drone, then push a button, then move your hand up, down, left, right, and the drone just, as you're moving, positions itself in another spot, avoiding the trees or whatever's around it. It's a little nerve-wracking when you first start using it. Because, you know, it's doing stuff and you're like, oh, don't hit that. I mean, your butt
you've got to learn how to do. You've got to learn to trust it.
But when I was saying that, I think people aren't realizing what it can do is actually because Skydio didn't make its own controller. They used the Parrot controller. They used an aftermarket thing from another company, sort of made it work with their drone. I think if Skydio had made a controller as high quality as the drone build itself that they made in-house, that had a connection that was maybe not as good as OcuSync, but as good as Lightbridge, at least. If you remember the old Phantom 3 had Lightbridge, and 2, I think, had Lightbridge. Something, because that wasn't bad either. But if it had something just a little stronger so you could actually feel confident that your signal on your viewing device was going to stay strong at 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, 5,000 feet, that's plenty of distance. I mean, we're not supposed to be flying out of sight anyway. So if you got a strong signal that you're doing the stuff that you would be doing with the Skydio at that closer range, but the trees don't block it and it's just locked in there,
but
I would probably sell every other drone I own.
At least you're certain that you won't crash it.
Yeah, and that is pretty true. Now, it's interesting because when you're flying with the controller, a lot of people don't like it. It has sort of a floaty feel to the thumbsticks. But once you figure out what it's doing and how it actually flies with that floaty feel, avoiding objects, you can then now predict how it's going to work and then really start just like going in and out of stuff in ways you never would ever with any other product on the market.
Do you have some footage around that you can show?
Yeah, it's not edited, but I can pull up.
You can skip forward and jump around to the interesting parts.
Yeah, let me well, if you want to share the screen, I've got it there. All you have to do is hit share. Do you want to see if there's any
No, I need to do that.
Oh, that's interesting. On the chat, let's answer some of these chat questions before we show the footage. I just noticed a couple of things. Somebody said that I'm not a big fan of the Mavic Mini for some reason.
So let's see. Okay, so let's go.
So let me answer Andy's question. He says, I'm not a big fan of the Mavic Mini. The Mavic Mini is, for the price, a great drone. I'm not a big fan of it because I have drones that are better than it already, and it's a downgrade for me. So it's hard for me to go buy more of a... I mean, it's a good toy grade drone. Don't get me wrong. It has a great little camera on it. I think Henrik has a Mavic Mini. He would probably be able to back me up on that.
Yeah, it does. It does a pretty good job for the price and size. There's some things you need to be aware of with it, but once you recognize or acknowledge these limitations of the drone, it's a great product.
Yeah, and I've got a bunch of videos on my channel of the Skydio 2 and the Air 2 showing the difference in the tracking. I need to go out and make a more dedicated video for those two. I'm focusing right now on the DJI stuff versus more DJI stuff. If people actually want to see more of the Air and the Skydio, the tracking on the two, everyone was very excited because it was, what was it, the tracking version 3 or something. What do they? It's slipping my mind. What do they call it?
APAS 3 Active Track.
Yeah, Active Track. That's it.
Yeah.
And
with
honestly, you could probably, those who have seen the video on my channel, the Active Track on the Air 2, it's really no different or any better than the Active Track that was on the Air 1, maybe slightly, but it still tracks you from behind. If you do parallel, which is on the side, you have to actually be in a larger area, because otherwise it just goes back behind you again.
But you tried it yourself, and I tried it on the electric unicycle when I was riding around. It almost hit me.
It almost hit me too.
No, it was above my head, but it came pretty close, and it was doing some pretty unpredictable stuff when I was riding around to demo this. So
yeah, I think for your unicycle stuff, you would love a Skydio too.
I think it would be perfect
so good for you. It's just they don't sell them there, and they're just now starting to get back in production because of the whole crazy world that just happened.
Let's check the chat here. There's a lot of things going on here. It's so nice with all of you contributing in the chat. That's always fun. It's at least you can testify, Sean. It's not very fun if there's nobody doing anything in the chat.
No, it's nice for the chat. The chat is moving. That's always nice.
Yeah,
especially when you see them talking back and forth amongst themselves. And let me give you guys watching in the chat a little hint. If you want us to properly answer something directly or talk about a subject, make sure you put the @ symbol in Tech Drone Media or the @ symbol in my name, so one of us sees a little highlight, or even better, give Henrik a super chat. You throw Henrik a super chat, boom, straight to your topic, straight to your question.
And that'd be nice.
$1. It's just super chats make a big bold thing, so it's as people are talking, it's easy to get lost.
Yeah, it is. So let's see.
Uh-oh, somebody says it would start at 12 p.m. my time. I don't know what their time is, the Hexter. I think I said it would start at 12 p.m. my time, which is mountain time here. It's probably, what, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock at your time, Henrik? PM?
No, me?
Yeah.
It's 8:30.
8:30. Is it still light outside? It looks like there's a ton of light.
Yeah, it's a ton of light. I can do this. Zoom, zoom.
That's crazy. That's really bright. It looks like it's midday where you are.
It's I would probably I will strive to do this more on a regular basis, and it will probably be around this time frame, but it will be maybe a little bit later.
Yeah.
It seems like 9 o'clock Danish time, that would be a better fit for me and my family.
Hey, you know what's funny, Henrik, is YouTube has just announced, or not announced, but incorporated in the behind the scenes stuff that we get to look at.
Yeah. I'm listening. I'm just.
It shows us where our viewers are mainly watching our videos from, or time-wise. So we can go look at a graph, and it shows what times most of our videos are getting watched. And for myself, it's actually between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Not what I expected. I expected more people to be viewing my stuff later at night, but it's just not that way. So that's why I recently threw out just a poll on my channel on when they'd rather see me do my next live show.
That's actually funny. I have to check that stat myself.
Yeah, it's completely not what I thought. And you can only check it through a desktop. You can't see it through the mobile app right now.
So Bird's Eye Perspective asks if I can say something in Danish. Det kan jeg selvfølgelig godt. Hvad er det, du gerne vil vide? Stil mig et spørgsmål på dansk, så skal jeg nok svare på det.
I have no idea what you said.
I just said, yes, of course I can do that. And if you have a specific question, then you can just ask. That was more or less what I said.
I tell you, one thing that I think is stupid in America is that they don't teach us multiple languages at a very early age. It's high school, and it's a 2-year elective, and then you choose something. Like I chose German, and there was no Germans anywhere around me. So when I was done with high school, I never spoke it again. I remember how to say a couple of cuss words. That's it. Where I think if they started us in elementary, first grade, second grade, things like that, and started just, you probably started very young learning different languages, right?
Yeah, but the fun thing is that when I grew up, and that's like 100 million years ago, a $10 super chat from Steve. Thank you.
And a $2 one from Agent K. Wait, is this Sean Ozz? Say something in Danish. Okay, Henrik, you got to teach me something.
Okay, I can teach you the most hardest part. That is rødgrød med fløde.
What?
that contains some sounds that you have never heard before. No. That's one of the toughest sentences, and it means like it's a Danish dish that's called it's a red, like not oatmeal, but it's a, and then you put cream on top of it. And if you say that in Danish, it's rødgrød med fløde.
Med fløde.
What was that?
Coco McFlurry. What? Blur. Cool. Wow.
This live stream is spinning into something completely different than what we planned.
Oh, you got another super chat. Look at that.
Yeah, thank you, Trevor. That is super nice. Thank you for the super chats. No, what I was saying, you are asking about being not that old learning languages. And when I was a child, there was only 4 television channels in my home. There was the Danish national television, and there was 3 German television stations. And in Germany, they synchronize or lip sync everything. So I heard all Clint Eastwood and all these actors talk German. So when I heard them talk the original language, I said, well, what are they saying? Why do they sound so funny? And then it was actually their original voice. So I've heard a lot of, at least a lot of German while I was a child.
That's funny because in the last video the video that I just finished editing yesterday, that it will be in a day or two, I didn't know, but my wire from my microphone to my camera came undone.
Yeah.
And so I had no audio for the last ending of the video. So I just dubbed over a whole bunch of stuff, and it doesn't go with the mouth. It's like watching one of those Chinese kung fu movies, and then you talk and then it doesn't go together.
But it happens. You just saw it happen to me with the reason why it was out of sync in the lamp video was basically because there was no audio on the primary camera. I had it plugged. I have an audio device plugged in that would allow me to do it remotely, but that was not turned on. And if that is plugged in, there's no audio on the camera, so there was no way of syncing it up. So I you know that happens.
Oh, I've definitely tried putting the audio with no audio, and you're watching the mouth, and you're trying to slide the vocal thing that's just barely off.
And once you see it, at least when you do what we do, edit videos all the time, you can't unsee it.
Yeah. And what's funny is whenever you actually have the frame rate a little different, so the frame rate and the audio don't actually match. So the frames, you can have it online here, but one's different frame rate. So if you're trying to sync 2 different audios,
that is hopeless.
Then they get off as you go.
Okay, Sean, that was a side spin.
I know.
It was an entertaining side spin, but now we want to see some of that. That's Skydio footage.
Well, let's see. Real quick, you had that super chat. On StreamYard, let me give you a little tip. You can actually go into the comments and click them, and they'll show up at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Want to try that?
I don't think I can. Oh wait, did I do it?
No, I did.
You can do it.
Okay. I forgot that. That's a pretty cool one. So let's just do that. That makes it a lot more engaging when we are answering comments.
And I think it's nice to highlight the super chats and put those up in there because those people.
And
a couple bucks.
And then we can do that.
This is a nice way to show the question that we're actually answering. So if someone's watching this in the replay,
VizTube just did a super chat.
2-in-1 PC for video. 2-in-1. Henrik, can you answer that question? 2-in-1 PC for video. 2-in-1 PC. What does that mean exactly? PC for video. Why would you? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. So hopefully you can rephrase that.
One is that tablet, so it can detach to a tablet. I don't know. We are both Mac users, so we are complete imbeciles when it comes to recommending PCs.
Although I did go to the dark side and got an Android phone, but I'll probably be going back to the other side of the next release.
There's a lot of super chats coming in here today. That's really exciting.
Awesome, yeah. Let me see. I know.
VizTube says video editing. That depends on what you wanna use as an editing software. If you're going for Adobe Premiere and maybe also DaVinci Resolve, you need a quite powerful computer, a PC, to do that. There's no doubt about that.
So I did see up here somebody. Okay, Trevor had asked if you updated the firmware on your Mavic Air.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's talking about the Mavic Air 2.
Yeah.
I think a new firmware just came out. I don't know if it was last night or today or when it came out, but if it is in the last 48 hours, I have not updated mine. I know Henrik does not have his anymore. He borrowed one, so he does not own it anymore.
I did. I made a ton of videos on a product I borrowed for a couple of days, so that was fantastic. I would probably go and buy it if I didn't have a Mavic 2 Pro in stock, but I don't need double drones.
No.
I think it's a nice product.
And if you don't need a Mavic 2 Pro, or if you don't need the zoom feature, the Mavic Air 2 is a little beast. I like it a lot more than I thought I was gonna. Like, even the things that I don't like about it aren't big enough on my scale to make me not like it. And I gotta say, the controller was the thing that I was gonna hate the most. On all the pictures, all the videos, it's like, oh, that controller's stupid. Won't fit in my pocket. I can't do this. It's too big. It's a dumb design. And it is now my most loved thing about flying with the Mavic Air 2. The controller is so smooth. I don't even miss the fact that I can't go in and change the presets, which I'm surprised. Normally, right off the bat, I got to go slow down the gimbal. I've got to slow down my yaw. And I haven't had to with this drone.
Yeah, you mentioned that as a big advantage, because a lot of us is missing the expo settings where you can adjust the stick response towards the end of the sticks, or make it slower in the middle, adjusting the gimbal settings, all that stuff.
And I say, Henrik, and I say this in comedy, either I've just got that damn good at flying, or they've nailed the controller, Yeah. So, because even in sports mode, I was able to get such smooth pans that it's just crazy. Hey, look at that. Here's a super chat to help you go to spin down. Look at that. You got another. Everyone wants you to come to spin down.
That could be super nice awesome to go over there. It's
you can sleep on my couch, Henrik. You don't even have to get a hotel room. Although the hotel room is right there by the event. It's walking distance, and you open your door and poof, there's the mountains and the lake.
Yeah, there's a big risk if I do that, Sean.
What's that?
I don't want to go back.
You just have to get your plane flight. I'm sure that between the people coming, you guys could get a rental car or something like that. Or if you come in and maybe try to fly the same time Kelly is. Kelly's coming a couple days early, and you could come early and help us set up the event and do the live stream.
I would really love to hang out with you guys. That could be really fun.
And the nice thing is it's going to be more casual. It's not going to be quite as, put together as, say, Spin Up is. It's more casual. It's just us hanging out, still making some cool stuff. But if it messes up or something doesn't go right, oh well, it's casual. It doesn't matter.
No. I did want to bring up a question here. I saw Steve was saying that as an answer to Lon, that he should not hold his breath for the Mavic 3. I don't know what you heard about this, but I have a very good source inside the industry, and he actually said that it could take quite a while before we see the Mavic 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. And also, people keep thinking that the Mavic 3 is going to be the Skydio competitor.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think so. I don't see any reason that why Mavic, the DJI Mavic line, would even compete with Skydio. It's a completely different style of drone. I think if DJI is going to do that, they would come out with something new. I would think they would say, hey, look at this. We've got this drone that's a tracking-based drone, but it still has OcuSync. And
I want a 1-inch sensor with a zoom.
And that would be something cool for the Mavic 3.
That would be nice.
What sucks is, for some reason, my zoom, I can't get it to fly right with my Android. The screen always cuts out. I have to switch it over to fly with my Apple device. But my Mavic Air works perfectly with the Android. It's such a pain.
Okay, now we keep avoiding the Skydio footage.
You want to show some of the Skydio footage now?
Yeah, I think it's time now.
All right.
So let's see. Hey.
All right, let me pull up the screen.
Let's just pull off Steve's comment
here. So this is an uncut video of me setting up. You can see the guy in yellow. He's who I'm trying to track the Skydio with. I'm flying with the controller. At that point, I've now hit track him. You see the Skydio got into position. And then whenever he moves, the Skydio will just readjust and go depending on what I actually, where I actually told it to follow him by. And I can't remember on this. Why is he taking so long? Come on, stop talking. Here we go. So then the Skydio just turns on its own and follows in such a short distance. So in that one, and I'll rewind that, that's pretty cool because I told it to fly on his left side and it's on his right when he starts. So as he starts, it instantly moves to the other side and follows him. And the cool thing is, in that short distance, when you track with a DJI drone, it can't move. It does. You have to start getting further away for it before it starts tracking. There is no way the DJI drone would track, because I brought it there. I did a video showing the two in this very environment. And what happens with that is the DJI drone just sort of turns, and until he gets all the way past that slide he does, that's about when the DJI drone starts to move and follow him. But then he's done with his trick. So it's too late. So that's letting it track. Let me fast forward to when I go through. Hey, that's me. Look, hello.
Have you considered adding some of these range extenders to the Skydio?
I was actually just looking at a website this morning about range extender. I just hate hacking my stuff up.
Yeah.
So here, let me. So this is just flying with the controller, and you could do this with the DJI right here as well. You know, you got your front sensors. As long as you're not in tripod mode or sports mode, you could go through this and your sensors would work and APAS would work, and you could go through all this. It would slow down a little bit more, and it would still want to. It's a little hazy the way it works with APAS, but you know, through Skydio, I couldn't see where the drone was. So this is the environment. We're down below right there. We're obviously. This is all melted off by now. This was just a month or so ago, but it's melted away. Let me bring it, fast forward it, and get it down. So I'm skipping around here because I know you're very interested in seeing when I flew it through the trees. Here we go.
Yes.
So you know, then I'm just letting it follow me through the trees. It's no big deal. I'm not worried about it at all. But then I take manual control back in just a second here. Okay, so I'm going fast forward through the trees. And let me rewind it just a little bit and just let it play from the beginning of that. So right about here. So I'm just punching it forward, and it's sort of
regardless of if you like the range or stuff. With this is leaps ahead of anything in terms of avoiding obstacles. It's really crazy.
And you know, look how fastly it's going through that. Now APAS will sort of do this. I've played with it a little bit, and with APAS in the Air 2. It kind of can do this when you're flying around.
But it's true. It does it in all directions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the 6 cameras, so you can do it sideways if you wanted to.
Well, I'm going backwards right now. Yeah. I would not turn around and try to do the same flight backwards with any of my DJI drones. I mean, that would have hit. And it's such a cool look whenever all of a sudden there's just a tree there. And I didn't know it was going to hit the tree or not. I know it shouldn't. When they're full trees like that, you don't have to worry about it. Now, you do have to worry about thin wires and stuff, sort of like Ken Heron.
Yeah, how thin? Just ask Ken Heron.
Yeah, the thin wires it cannot pick up on very well. But it still leaps and bounds ahead of, I mean, this is just one example. I mean, I can fly through the trees like this. If you live in a city, you could fly around buildings, objects, cars, not in motion. You're not supposed to be moving and flying around things in motion because it has to it's mapping the environment. If things are moving in the environment, well, that could be an issue. But here I'm going backwards again. It's just, I almost prefer flying it backwards through things than forwards because it's just such a cool, I mean, to see that tree. I couldn't see the tree was there until after I passed it. And well, actually I could on that one because I'm standing right there. But normally I've been in deeper, heavier trees, and I'm just sort of playing around with it right here. Let me see if I can find another video. I've got a ton of them. You know what? I can show you real quick what the actually, I don't think it'll pull up on here. Let me see. Yeah, see, that's the problem with my Air. See how it's not showing? I've got to set it because it has the H265. I need to change that and just switch it back to H.264 because it doesn't just drop into the browser for us to play like this very well. So let me find something else here. Where's all my Skydio stuff? Here we go. Skydio footage. Okay, here's something with the beacon only. Let me actually just give me a second and I will pull this up.
Let me just check here. 37 people is watching right now and only 16 likes.
Oh, come on, guys. You can do better than that. I never understand that.
Slam that like button.
Okay, so here, this is, we're getting off snow, and this is it playing here? Okay, so we found this. Let me fast forward it, guys. This is just using the beacon. So I'm just standing on a skateboard, using the
That's
beacon.
another unique feature, this beacon.
It is. And right here, you should be able to see this video I made is actually on my site, and it actually explains how to use the beacon. And that's sort of what you can see me talking to the camera there. I'm using the GoPro Max in front of me. And I use that camera so much for all my videos now because of the horizon lock.
You can just send me a few links to some of your favorite Skydio videos, and then I will put them in the description below the video.
Okay.
So
yeah, for the
replay, they can go down and check it out.
Yeah, or if anybody in the chat wants to post some, that's fine with me too. Okay, so this is sort of cool. Look, like how the Skydio was in front of me, right? And I'm turning, and it's still saying wherever I point it. I missed the spot. There was a spot where I was really able to show. Hold on, let me find it. Oh, it's back here. Okay, here we go, right here. So notice I'm just pointing the wand. See my hand? I'm pointing at the drone, and then I'll tap the button. Maybe I already tapped it. Let me back up here. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay. So give it a second.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, right?
If that has been the Air 2, I will have smashed it into those branches.
Yeah, right? Look at it. This is when I first got it. So I bet you my butt was clenched right there going, oh!
I like this Star Wars kind of a Jedi thing where you can just point it to a place and park it.
You see how I'm pointing with my hand, and I just moved it around to in front of me. And now this is something that you just can't do with pretty much any other drone. Look at how low I'm able to get it in front of me, and it will stay in that spot. And
that's actually a thing that you're absolutely correct, because we are flying drones, and drones is automatically associated with flying high.
Yeah,
you actually get some of the best footage if you keep it low.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Look how close it is to me, and how low that is, and it's staying in front of me. And
how would you do that? Maybe you could do it with a car and maybe some camera.
Yeah, right. Or if somebody else had a skateboard in front of me and they were going too. But we do this shot whenever I'm snowboarding with my buddy, and what I'll do is I'll ride right in front of him and just point the camera behind me, and then he'll pace me to get shots like this. So that's, the Skydio is doing, look at that. I've never been able to get any other drone to stay right in front of you like that. It's pretty incredible. It's like
it almost falls off to the side.
Somebody's asking me why there's still snow. That snow melted away about a month ago. It's all gone now, but that is where we're holding Spin Down this year. This is up in Summit County, Colorado. The Spin Down is going to be in Dillon, and everyone's invited. We probably will have limited spots though because of the whole Rona thing. But look at, I'm speeding up now. Look at it. It's staying with me.
Yeah, it does.
No problem.
Does a pretty decent job staying in position.
But listen, that's the thing, is a lot of Skydio footage, you'll notice people are moving the drone around everywhere. So it's constantly here. I think I'm going to move it. Yeah, notice I just moved my arm. And so I pointed it over there and let go of the button. And that's how we got that shot. And I think that's pretty cool.
And you have a lot of stuff going on there with the remote and the camera.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see. I've got, where is it? I've got a video of both of them tracking. Just give me a second to find it. You go ahead and talk or answer people's chat, and I'll find this next video.
Let's see what we have in here. There's a lot of people going in here doing stuff.
I might have thrown that footage away last night, actually. Oops.
Oh.
Did I seriously just throw it?
Probably help. I don't know why it wasn't updating on my end, but 28 likes, that's a nice thing. So let's see what Steve says here. Improve above from Spin Down to 20. Oh yeah, let me see. That's because I can't see. Steve, that's because I can't see them from within this interface. I need to go to the phone, so I can't see comments that are being taken away.
Henrik, you should go in and make Steve Carpenter and a few other people mods.
How do I do that?
If you pull up the live chat from your actual YouTube page, you should be able to click the 3 dots on the side, I think, and that should be able to make him a mod. And a lot of these guys are great. Any of the regulars you see, I would definitely recommend Steve, Agent, and a couple of the other guys. They're really good at that. Very helpful. And it's so helpful when people are in the chat, able to help, throw in links.
Add moderator. Oh, now I'm doing YouTube 2.0.
Yeah, there you go. I do need to make a comment here about Taggy on Tag. He says it's only a follow drone. I don't think he owns one, because that's the biggest misconception. And if he's been watching your live stream right now for any time, well, he'd know he was wrong. It is definitely so much more than a follow drone. That is the biggest misconception of the Skydio 2. The Skydio 2 flying with the controller, as we were saying earlier, is the most fun way to actually use it. It is incredible with the controller. It's just not going to go very far. That's the biggest problem, because it's a Wi-Fi drone, and a lot of Wi-Fi drones just don't have that. This is a pretty cool clip I could show you. Let me.
So, Steve, you should be able to post something now. Just write a comment below if it's still not possible. I think I've added you as a moderator here.
All right, I'm going to put in this. This is me flying with the controller. Okay. So to say that it's only a follow drone is completely false and completely misleading. This is not following anything. This is just flying the drone with the controller. So, not to put you on the spot there, Tagaton Tag, but you've been tagged. All right. It's not a follow. I mean, it is a follow drone. It is the best follow drone there is. There's nothing like it. However, it's also an incredible drone to fly with the controller, as long as you don't have to fly that far away from where you're at.
And there's no easy hacks to extend it.
No, I was looking at one that replaces the whole bottom of the controller today, and it looks like a good one. It's like $150, but you have to have some other kind of charging bouncer, and odd batteries to do it. It's not self-contained in that way. A Level Drone RC asked, how far can we take it out? Well, I did a side-by-side video on my channel showing how far the Skydio went against the original Mavic Air 1, and it. You're not supposed to go out of line of sight. So the problem is you start flying it in between trees, and you get the trees, the buildings will block your Wi-Fi signal, and that sort of sucks. I think I got 4,000 feet away from myself before it broke up, and that was without things between us.
One more here. You might be able to answer, and I guess that's a yes. I think I can answer that.
Let me see. I can see. I'll see if I can link that video of the Skydio distance test. Where is it?
But it is a 4K drone, yeah, and it can do
4K 60. That is correct. Yeah. There it is. There's the video. Okay. Wow, I made that one a while ago now. Okay, so who was asking that? Let me tag you. Level RC drone. Here is a link. I don't think my link is going to show because I'm also not a moderator. Yep. So I'm not a moderator. So I posted a link. If you make me a moderator in the chat, then my link will show. For Level Drone RC. Will avoid obstacles while manually flying with the controller. Yes.
I'll try that. I will take my magic phone here and do some stuff.
This is me flying with the controller, and it 100% avoids obstacles. And this was sort of a hangout video. The video you're seeing right now is just me sitting there hanging out, making a video so that I could do it as a live release. And you can see even those thin branches right there, it actually went around.
I think Sean is a mod. I don't know. Do I need to approve you as well, Sean?
Yeah, I'm not a mod unless you approve me.
Okay. Then I will have to do it.
Yeah, you see this bridge I'm flying? I'm going to fly under the bridge. Doo-doo, it's just flying around. It's a really fun drone. If it had a controller with a stronger signal, as well as a better build, again, I would probably sell every other drone I own. And
so Level Drone RC you can post now, and Sean you can.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta take that serious when it comes from Steve. Because,
oh no, I just saw that. Steve, what are you talking about? And so what you're seeing is unedited footage. Okay, this is not the way I normally will show footage in a video.
Hey, look at this. They keep roasting you.
What's going on? I'm a loose cannon. Come on, guys. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Oh, this. Let me show you. Somebody was asking if it could avoid obstacles flying manual. In this video here, there's a shot. Let me fast forward it. It's going to be a little choppy till I find the spot. But there's a spot in here that has such a cool flight. Where is it? Maybe here. Let's see. Okay. So this is when I first got it. This is my first time flying the Skydio. And look, I'm just pointing it at the trees, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to manually go around it. And then I turn. I wish I could live in one of those houses. They're so nice. Okay, this is not the spot I was thinking of, but those are nice houses. Let's see. Okay, fast forward. And speaking of houses, I think I'm going to give up on buying a house for right now. So, you know, I've been telling you I've been stressed because I was going to try to buy a house. And
you were out of reach for a couple of days.
Yeah, it's been such a hassle. It's not fun trying to buy a house up here. There's such a limited amount of stuff on the market.
Yeah.
But this is flying with the controller, and it's I mean, like that tree right there. Look at that. I would have never done that with my other drone.
By the way, this was a comment from My Air Miles. You should actually go and check out his channel. He's doing some pretty good stuff as well. He's at least flying in some historical, very interesting places.
Really, where at? What country?
I think it's you're from UK, yeah. I think it's from UK. So he's basically doing what we are doing once in a while, just firing up a live stream and then just take off and show the surroundings.
Oh, that's nice.
It's very nice with these uncut videos.
Like I've been to the UK. It's been a long time, but I have been to the UK, and I liked it quite a bit. And so, like, you know, this is just me flying it manually, trying to hit trees, and I was actually trying to hit the trees in a couple of these clips.
Why would you want to do that?
Because they claim that we're avoiding stuff. What did the trees do to me? Let me see. Okay, so I rewound it. I come back down to the trees.
Okay, I know you have a backstop here, Sean. So I want to make sure that we have enough time to cover your little incident. Oh
yeah, we have another hour. Till I have to open up, so we got plenty of time. But there's a really cool clip. I'm trying to find it, and I know it's on this flight. I'm just trying to figure out where. It's been a while, so maybe this is it. Okay, so I'm flying through the trees. It's avoiding the trees. And then I start to turn. The coolest thing is I can turn and fly sideways. Now I'm flying sideways. Yes, this is it. This is it. Look at this. I'm sideways flying, right? I can't tell if I'm going to hit the tree. The drone's making sure I don't hit the tree. And it's just so cool.
You need to trust it.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you need to know you're not around anything too thin. And I probably could hit some thin, dead branches. But this thing is so much fun. This drone is the most fun I've had manually flying a drone since I got my first drone, the Blade Nano. That thing was so much fun in my house. And then all drones have been fun since. But this brings me back to like 6-7 years ago when I first started, and that excitement that I got going, wow, this is incredible. Like what I'm doing here. This is, you know, Ed Ricker actually flew around in these trees too. And he used his FPV drone, and he still couldn't get around the trees in the way that I could with the Skydio.
He's getting so good at this FPV stuff.
Yes, he is. It makes me want to.
Have you seen the parking lot footage where he's
when he's going around me and Ken? Is that the one you're talking about?
Hmm?
When he's flying around me and Ken in the parking lot, or something?
No, he made one later where he was just flying in and out of like a parking building, up and down. He's really good.
Let's see. Let me see. I saw a couple of people tagged me in the chat. Steve says, "Hold on to your house." Well, I'm renting, Steve, so I don't have a house to hold on to. I either have to re-sign my lease or I have to buy something. And then Razvan says, "Come to Vancouver, the most expensive home in North America." We're looking at like a $600,000 home that's only 1,200 square feet. So and it needs to be fixed up. It's a fixer-upper. So that's the cheapest home that we can find out here. So I don't know how expensive they are there or what the translation from US to Canada is, but
how does it work? Can't you just buy a plot of land?
There's not a lot of land available. There's a little bit of land. I've seen about 3 or 4 lots available in the whole county that I live in the area. And they're $250,000 for a lot of land. That's about a third of an acre.
And how much is a house?
It depends on what you build, but these lots require you put at least a 2,000 square foot home on it. So to build a home like that, you're probably looking at somewhere between 300 and 600,000 plus the land.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's more than I make.
I don't know where he lives.
That's the size of a mobile home. You are right. It sucks. Because where I used to live, I had a 3,300 square foot home with a 3-car garage that was only like $150,000. So it's weird. I live in a beautiful area, but you sacrifice having a home. And that's what it sucks. And then
I like the looks of the snow, but I think I will have a hard time living there.
I've never lived in snow until I moved here. And it's not as bad as people think it is. It's different here than it is, say, on the East Coast or lower elevation. It's so dry. It's a dry, fluffy snow. So moving it is pretty easy. And it's not like a wet snow that sticks and is very heavy when you shovel it. It's almost like moving cotton candy.
That'll make it a little bit easier.
And you've seen me out in t-shirts when it's snowing. So let me just, I think that I've shown enough Skydio footage there.
So you would just change my screen by disabling it. Nice. I learn all the time. That's cool.
I close the window so it instantly goes away that way. We got somebody saying, Robert is asking us about AirSense and what do you think about it and why don't we have it in the EU? Well, I have AirSense on mine and it's not once gone off because of where I live. I don't live in a very high air traffic spot, or at least low to the ground air traffic, just helicopters here and there. I think people who live in a area with more planes, I think it's not a bad thing to be able to see that something's in the area. I don't know if it's quite.
I would say, I don't know. To some point, it's a little bit overrated because no plane should be down below the 400 feet limit.
Yeah, shouldn't be.
So I don't know when you're gonna use it, but I guess too much safety, that's okay. And to answer the question why only some got it, it was a supply demand during the coronavirus that made only a limited amount of hardware available for doing the AirSense communication. So it ended up being North America that got this, and a few other places in the world. But the rest of us, we are not getting AirSense, and they still charge the same money for the drone, which is a little bit kind of ish. So I don't know if we eventually will get it. I guess so. We have other problems with the Air 2. Also, the certification and the marking is not good enough to comply with the new EU rules that are being phased in at some point. They just delayed that with a year now, as far as I read. So it's not going to be a short-term problem, but at least until they move the date, you could end up with a drone that you were not allowed to fly after 2022. At least not with the same less restrictions that you would have if it was labeled the correct way and was containing this remote ID that is a mandatory thing after 2022. That's a longer story, and it changes all the time. So there's nobody that has a definitive answer to what will happen.
I just saw what Steve wrote in the chat. He says, why would Sean try to crash into trees? Because, like Agent K said, he's a loose cannon. Oh, they're going to calm me down in September. No, guys, I'll be even crazier in person. Like, I calm it down on camera, to be honest. I'm actually calmer than in real life. Unless I had no sleep that day, then you might look at it. I'm trying to do, Henrik, I'm trying to do at least 2 classes at Spin Down, included for that. No extra charge, no big $100 fees. Like, I think the ticket for Spin Down is going to be like either $25 or $35. Kelly's going to decide that for sure. It just depends on how much. We're trying to just recoup the money. The place we rented is not cheap. It was $900 just to rent that place for the day. And then, of course, we're buying hamburgers and hot dogs and food. So we're hoping that $25 to $35, if there's 50 people, we should make that money back, as well as, you know, the money for the food, as well as hopefully a little money to be able to buy everyone a first round drinks for the ones that came early, and give each other a little care packages. Hopefully, maybe, fingers crossed. So I mean, that's what I'm hoping. And then Spin Down, I want to do the 2 demos, a demo with the Skydio and show how it tracks and how you can fly it with the beacon. I think that would be cool to show everyone in real life how that actually works. And then I want to show whoever's interested how the GoPro Max works as a 360 camera, because I love that camera so much.
And me too. It's I'm really happy that you talked me into buying it.
Yeah, I barely ever touch my Insta360-1X now, or my Insta360-1R. They're like, hey, are you gonna make another video about the 1R, about comparing it to the GoPro Max? And I'm like, are you sure you want me to do that? You know, because I'm gonna be honest, it's not a bad camera. Don't get me wrong. The 1R is not a bad camera.
But it's not suited for your needs.
Yeah, I don't like it as much, even though they think it's suited for my needs. The modular system, as fun as that is, and it's like playing with Legos, it's much nicer.
It's not fun if you drop it in the snow.
No, or in a lake or wherever. Just the GoPro it's the both combined.
Do some little bit of advertising for the Spin Down.
You know, maybe we should tell people what it actually is. Does anyone in the chat not know what we're talking about when we say Spin Down? Are you lost? Are you like going, what the hell are they talking about? If so, let us know and we'll explain it. But I'm really hoping Henrik can make it out. That would be so awesome.
So let's just do it. I like this, that I can switch the comments on the screen. Ooh, and I want to do something else. Now I'm getting all advanced. Poof! Now we got the logo.
Steve is telling me not to buy a house right now. He says, wait, he thinks the prices are going to drop. It's hard to say, Steve, because I don't want to get too off of drones and stuff, but it's hard to say because I am in a vacation town, so it doesn't tend to drop quite as quickly as other places.
Oh, Jenna is in the house.
Jenna C.
And she's lost, so you got to save her and tell her about
Jenna. No,
she was there.
Yeah, she knows what Spin Down is. She's just being goofy.
Yeah, I think I saw her name somewhere in relation to the.
See, I'm just going through the chat because I see my name highlighted quite a few times. So I'm trying to do my best to answer anyone that's talking to me directly like that. You know, and again, if you guys throw Henrik a super chat.
Like this one?
Yeah, the two of us together, we're quite a character, that's for sure.
As long as there's no bats around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ken's got a little bit of a fear of bats, I think. I got a feeling that if we can get together, we'll make some fun videos in person too, Henrik.
Yeah, I think we could probably squeeze 1 or 2 good videos out.
Oh yeah, easily, I think.
The problem is sometimes that we are getting too advanced. That's sort of getting in our way of getting it done, I think.
Yeah.
We want too much with these crazy edits that we have been talking about. Sometimes it takes a lot of coordinations to do that.
And you're right, Henrik. That's why sometimes you'll see me not put a video up at all for a while, for a week or two sometimes, because most of the time I'm trying to do really fun, creative edits, because what I've done for my life is art my whole life, right? And so when I edit, I typically am trying to think of fun, artsy ways to make the edit more entertaining. And when I put together a video where I'm just sort of sitting there talking and then going back and forth the drone stuff, I feel like I'm letting down my subscribers. I feel like, that's not up to his standards. So then I tend to just sit on a video and never edit it, even though I filmed it. I might be able to show you, this might be funny. if anyone's interested. Let's see if I can figure out how to share this. I'll take this screen down for now.
Ooh, let's put this one up here.
Hold on, let's see.
Thank
you
you,
can
It's super nice. It's really nice.
Okay, check this
Very
out.
appreciated.
Put this on your screen real quick, Henrik. I'm going to show people my workflow on how much stuff I'm editing. So this is my.
Yeah,
if you want to take the chat off, all you do is click it again, and that'll remove it from the screen, just like so. So this, guys, what you're looking at, this is my hard disk of my YouTube files. So I have all this stuff made already. I have random videos that I collect. I have outros. I have JPEGs. I have tons of PNG things ready to go so that I can put those into videos. You know, we got my logo. I don't know if that showed or not, but you know, we got all kinds of stuff. Look, there's a poo. I got a PNG poo ready to go. You know, you got arrows, X's, all this stuff ready to go to be put in. Here's a steak. Does that show? No, that doesn't show. But that's like a steak, like for cooking.
You're like a factor 1 million more organized than I am.
Well, this gets a little crazier than this. So then I have my music, free music that I pre-choose a bunch. I have tons and tons of music in here from different artists, and as well as the free YouTube music over here. That's cool. You can see my mouse cursor. And then if we go back here, then I have a file of drone videos that I'm in process of editing. Like most of these need to be edited. Yeah, there you go. I say I keep your stuff around too. Somewhere I have pictures of you. I think I have one in the PNG actually. Let me go back.
I have a video that I need to pull up at some point. One I made of a 5-in-1 charger for the Mavic Pro, the original Mavic Pro, and you will cringe if you see that video.
Look, right here, see that one? There's a PNG of you for using as a thumbnail or putting in a video. Going back to the drones, you see right now I have a secret trick video right there that I need to do. I have a point of interest video I need to do. I have a hyperlapse video, one about asteroid, one about dolly zoom. My first Mavic ever, a video of me getting the original Mavic and me talking about does it still hold up today. And a lot of this stuff is filmed partially. It's not finished. Some of this stuff is done. You know, I just put up a video packing a bag. I plan to do a final review of the Air 2. More Air 2 stuff that I'm working on, the Air versus Zoom. I mean, so much stuff in process.
There's a question. If you edit in Final Cut?
I do use Final Cut Pro. I started out with iMovie and graduated into Final Cut Pro. Messed with Premiere a little bit. Decided I preferred the output speeds of Final Cut Pro, of rendering the files when I was done, as well as the magnetic timeline. I had grown used to it. So I went back and just stayed with Final Cut Pro.
I also took the path from iMovie, I think was the first one, and then I transitioned into DaVinci Resolve.
I remember that.
I spent a lot of time there synchronizing audio and making my mouth match the audio and all that stuff, and then I gave up on that. And then I started Final Cut, and I never looked back ever since. Yeah. I still recommend the new version of DaVinci Resolve. That's a pretty neat piece of software, because it's free, and you get a lot of functionality, especially the color grading part. If you're into that, is really strong on DaVinci Resolve 16. But it does require quite a powerful computer to run it smoothly. Yeah. And that's the beauty about Final Cut, is that it never struggles. I never struggle editing 4K footage. I never wait. It never lags. It just crunches it.
Level Drone is asking what's the easy to use video software. If you're on a Mac, I would highly recommend iMovie. I know a YouTuber who's got close to 40,000 subscribers now, and he uses iMovie all the time. He never switches to Final Cut Pro. He doesn't need those extra features, and he just knocks it out with iMovie. It's super easy to use. Now, again, if you're not on a Mac and you're on PC, then what Henrik right there was talking about, DaVinci Resolve, I would highly say try that one. It might be a learning curve, but it'd be.
I know somebody who made a course on using DaVinci Resolve, and I don't know who that is.
Well, it looks like my Air Miles says that on his channel he actually does DaVinci Resolve tutorials.
Oh, so that may be worth going checking that out as well. Then Tim Moore, he brings up LumaFusion. I heard a lot of good things about that, but that is iPad only, as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong, But I heard a lot of good stuff about LumaFusion. That should also be a very easy, intuitive piece of software.
Yeah, I've never used it. I can't remember. There was one that when I went to Vid Summit, that was a mobile app that everyone was using there. Like all the other YouTube creators, they were using it. I don't ever edit mobily, so I did.
LumaFusion actually, they're not called LumaFusion. That's the product. The company is called something else. But they approached me at some point and wanted to do a collaboration. But they were offering me a free license, I think, or something to do it. And you know how it is. If you've got to start to build educational material or a review around a new product, you need to spend the best part of 10, 15 hours making a video like that if it needs to contain at least an amount of information. And I was perfectly happy with the final cut, so I didn't see any reason to go down that path. But I might try it sometime, because it would be nice to have a powerful editor on your mobile device.
Yep. No. Supposedly,
actually, another super pro trick is to use the editor that's inside the DJI Fly app.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't have a Mavic Air and I don't have a Mavic Mini. Yeah, but you can use it anyway. You can actually edit. You can just import random footage from your phone's camera roll, and then you can use that one as an editor.
I bet you could do that with the GoPro app also, because the GoPro app has an editor.
Yeah, there's a lot of these. Oh, what did I do there? Did I do something? No. So there's a lot of these programs that vendors that have some pretty nice fast edit pieces of apps that will allow you to stitch something very fast together.
So you see the video that I have highlighted there.
Yeah.
that's when I was on Jerry Springer.
Yeah, put that one up.
No. You would be flagged and demonetized instantly. I have been thinking, you know what I would love to do on my channel is once a month actually tell a story, some story about something that happened in my life. We'll use this Jerry Springer experience, for example, and tell a story, narrate it, and then show bits and clips of that piece or whatever I have that can finish that story and make it interesting, and hopefully wrap it up with some kind of ending, and do one video a month like that, so that over time I've told stories of my past, but hopefully in an entertaining way that doesn't take away from all the informal or informational things that I do on the channel, so that maybe 10 years, 20 years from now, those videos are the ones that I'm going to still enjoy the most.
I started doing that a little bit on my other channel, the Henrik Olsen channel, telling personal stories. I think I made one about when I was studying, when I went to Russia, where we did this experiment with how much vodka we could pour into a security guard.
I thought about doing a second channel. I debated, just like you have your second channel that's Henrik Olsen, I debated doing another one that was World of Ozz and Sean Ozz. Yeah. And, it's so much work that I think that I'm going to just keep them as one.
I can't maintain the other one. I will post something once in a while. Maybe I will take the lamp video that was part of this live stream, and I will post that as a separate video on that channel, because it's basically more that type of material that will fit under this channel, where I talk about YouTube growth and stuff like that once I have some messages to share there. So maybe it makes more sense to post it over there. But it is a hard time maintaining. I also have a Danish drone channel called Drone Tips.
That's a lot. I'm having a hard time even making a nature channel, because I go out to make a nature channel. Next thing you know, my GoPro's in the water. I'm falling in the water. I'm freezing. And now I got no footage for my nature channel because I fell over.
That was a big bummer. We're gonna touch upon that in a sec. So it is hard work to maintain the other channels. It definitely is. And I turned the Danish one. It's basically a storage for stock footage. So once I have a piece of stock footage, then I will just upload it there as like a catalog. I get the question all the time in a Danish forum. I have a Danish Facebook group as well with around 3,700 Danish drone pilots.
Yeah.
And every time that I post my video, there's almost a 100% guarantee that somebody will say, why are you doing this in English and why don't you do it in Danish?
Huh.
And it's fairly simple. It's not sustainable for me to do it. I can't do both.
Yeah.
I did that for a while. I did like an
English put subtitles. What about just doing one and putting subtitles?
That's the problem. You can't auto subtitle English to Danish.
No, but you could, while you're doing the video, you could just put little clips of words and make it subtitle it yourself.
Yeah, but you know how it takes forever to do that stuff.
Yes, it does. It does. I've done it in small.
And I've decided that I will. We are living in an international society, so I've decided to keep doing the English stuff, and that's also where I see the growth. So
it's interesting to me how many places know English, and it kills me how little languages that here in America we actually know well. How few people know. I don't know 2 languages. I don't know. You know 3, don't you?
Apart from you getting the letters wrong, it's wow. That's what I said when I met the Birdman. When I was tired of this idiot telling me what to do, then I said wow.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. That was my funniest part. I didn't know what you were saying, but just you could tell your reaction. It was like, "Fuck," you know, bleep, bleep, bleep.
Yeah, but this guy, he's getting to play and roll here on the channel. I don't care about the person himself, but sort of the character, the Birdman. I will find ways to bring him in in my videos.
Are you calling him the Birdman because he said he was a bird watcher, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Oh, rubbish. That's HNC says. K says rubbish.
Yes, exactly. Because it was rubbish. I was actually surprised that I could keep my cool, because I was mostly worried about something would happen to the drone because it was getting pretty low on battery, and I had borrowed the only Mavic Air at that point that was in Denmark, so it would be pretty bad to land it in the lake. Yeah. Somehow while I was discussing with this guy, and of course I could have handled this in different ways, and I probably will going forward.
And you know, what's funny though is I remember you calling me up that day, and you're like, "Oh, I was so mad. I got to show you this footage. I was so mad. I probably shouldn't post it because I look so mad. And blah blah blah. And I lost my cool." Yeah. And I watched it. And I was like, "You stayed way cooler than I would have."
Yeah, I would have probably. That's also what the majority of people says in the comments below the video. This video has so many comments. Yeah. There's so many people that can relate to it. I think that's the problem.
And for most of us, I think Birdman would have been taking a swim.
Yeah.
So I think you did pretty well.
But we're not allowed to carry guns and stuff like that here. So.
Well, then even better. Then you could have thrown him in the water and not got shot.
Yeah, and put and made a quick shot video.
Yeah, right. You had the drone. Just said, "Give me just a second." Line the drone up. Okay, all right, go swimming, buddy.
But what I actually didn't record was after this incident, and I had landed the drone. I was starting to pack up all my gear, and then I was putting down the drone in different positions, and I was taking off my DSLR, shooting footage for thumbnails and all that stuff. And then there was another couple that was coming, and then they saw me with the camera, and they went over to me and said, "Hello, how are you doing? Did you get some nice shots and from the nature here down here, and wanted to small talk?" Then I said, "Yes, I just finished my drone flight," and then they just froze up. They didn't even want to talk to me anymore. They thought I was out taking photos with my DSLR, but when I mentioned the drone word, they just froze up.
Oh, that's funny. I gotta show you.
No. I said, okay, I'm happy you're done with that drone flying, because our dog is very scared of drones. And then they started, why, yada, 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 yada. I said, I'm okay, but then it's I was sort of getting the hang of it, dealing with idiots that day. So I said, yeah, okay, but then it's good. And I'm done with the recording. So I'm just about to pack up. And then, then we had a little talk about some rare birds that they've been seeing in the areas and stuff like that. And so that panned out very peacefully.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how much drone can upset people.
Yes, it is. I'm a little freaking out right now because I just filmed this big long video yesterday, and I can't remember where I put any of the footage. Wait, here we go. Okay, I'm going to show you something that I found sort of humorous.
Yes. Should we take a question here first before we move on?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Mini Mavic Air 2 as first drone. I would say, without any doubt, if you have the money, buy the Air 2.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely, 100%. That between the two, if you have the money, the Air 2 is definitely the way to go. If you don't have the money, then the Mini is not a bad option at all.
Nope. It's not, but you need to stay away from flying in high wind, and you need to be aware that you will see breakup and connectivity issues.
And be aware you don't have any sensors. So you got to just learn to not run into things. All right, Henrik, share this screen. This is talking about people that overreact, right?
Yeah. Oh, I do a full screen thingy. Or should we be on the side? We can be
and just click to get rid of the question right there so the whole screen shows. So speaking of people that react weird, like this is the area that spin down is going to be. You see the pavilion here. You see me down in this chair right here. Does my mouse show? Can you see my mouse?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so that's me sitting there in the chair. Just to back out, you can get a better look. So this is the area we're going to meet up. Here you go. So that's the pavilion. Here's the big. We're renting out this whole space. So
yeah.
That's what we paid for. Beautiful spot. But you see these people right here? I had no idea they were here, right? So I'm basically making a video trying to show off some of the space, and I'm lining it up, coming in. And
I would say that you need to be extra careful. One of them is in a blue coat.
Yes, that's the one. Watch the one in the blue. Watch the one in the blue. Watch what look at her. She's running to hide behind her boyfriend. You see that? Now she's waving at the drone.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why do people react like that? You can't even see their faces. You have no clue who they are. They're not in the shot. I mean, they are, but they're not.
But it's
watch right here. She sees the drone, and she hides behind her boyfriend.
She does.
Right there, she's waving. Then, oh no, I'm out of here. Oh no drone for me. I don't want to be on that guy's drone. No. You know, like, is that what's going through her head? I don't know.
It'd be pretty hard to pick her from a lineup at the police station and footage.
And just so you guys know, those who are interested, if you can see my mouse, this is what we've rented. Very beautiful area. Right there to the left, you see the mouse over here? That's the hotel. So all you got to do is walk right over here, and poof, you're at the event. Very cool. Let me see if I can show a little. Yeah, there we go. So that's the event. That's the view. Pretty nice, huh? All right. And if you want to talk about the GoPro, I did pull up a clip, but we should probably tell them why or what we're talking about before we bring it up. I'll let you talk for a minute. You lead us into that.
Yeah. You have been inspired for a long time to do like an alternative to your channel where you do a lot of action stuff. And you have been seeing all these nature channels that basically just film nature, and it runs for a longer period of time. Mm-hmm. And then it could be a waterfall, it could be, I don't know, whatever. And you wanted to recreate that. So you have created a second channel that is called World of Nature. Is it?
That's correct.
Yeah. Maybe you can post, I've made you a moderator so you can post the link in the chat.
Let me find out while you talk.
And as part of that, you simply go out to some remote locations and find some beautiful spots, and then you put up a camera, and then you simply let it roll while you are doing something else. I don't know what you're doing while you're recording this, but I could imagine you will record something else with another camera while this one is sort of producing content for your nature channel. Exactly. And it's crazy. A lot of these nature channels, they actually have an insane amount of views. So you are basically trying to tap into that segment.
Yeah, and the fact that I've lived here 3 years, and it never crossed my mind that people would want to see just me finding an area that's beautiful and set up a camera and just let it play. A lot of the ones I'm doing have water.
Totally sense, because you live in the middle of a postcard, so of course you can do it.
But it's been challenging. It's been more challenging than I thought it would be, and very expensive now also.
so that basically leads into your story. What happened during your last expedition?
Well, I go out, and this time I brought Gina, which is, for those who don't know, my girlfriend, and we brought these hammocks that you can tie between trees. So we were just going to set up a camera and just chill out in the hammock, which is, I get to relax myself while I film. because a lot of the times I only have to film for half an hour, and I'll put it in 120 frames a second and slow the footage down, and then just loop the audio of the river or the water sounds in through that longer footage. So I'll do videos that are 10 minutes long, 5 minutes long, 30 minutes long, an hour long. I think the longest one I have right now is 4 hours of just water and nature stuff. Anyway, so this time I set up the camera, the GoPro, and I get it in this little area that's right on the edge of the stream. It's just, it's shallow. It's maybe had like this much water. So I set the Joby tripod up, made sure everything was secure, got the angle, and then got up and went to set up my second camera down the way a little bit. And that one's on a tripod. I set that up, and then I go back and I sit in the hammock for a little while. And I go get my camera, the GoPro, and I'm like, didn't I put it here? I thought I put it here at this spot.
Oh, no.
And it wasn't there. It was gone. I guess from during the day while we were sitting there, it was the hot part of the day. And this is snow melt off. It's coming right off the peaks of the mountain. Freshly melted ice. So it is some very cold water. I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually below freezing and it just doesn't freeze because it's moving so fast.
Yeah.
And it was gone. The GoPro was not there. So it's a $400 camera. I decided I'd take all my clothes off down to my boxer shorts and try to jump in the water and see if maybe it had gotten hung up on the edge of the stream.
It's so crazy that you did this, because that could be really, really dangerous.
I had just gone to the gym the day before and did leg day, it was that morning actually. And then I jumped in the water, and they say ice water is supposed to be good for your muscles, but I swear it made my muscles go into shock or something that were already sore, because they ended up hurting beyond what I've ever had in a workout for days afterwards.
But I saw you posted a photo or something.
Yeah, I posted a few photos.
But you were basically up to the waist.
Yeah, it was much deeper than I thought it was going to be. I've got a short clip I can share with you if you want to share.
Oh, super chat. Oh, sticker. This is a sticker. I haven't seen one of those before. Let me just check.
Awesome.
Continue.
Yeah. So the water was only if it was this deep, it was cold, but it was standable. But as soon as I got in a little deeper, we're talking, it got cold, so cold that I literally could not stay in the water for more than just a few seconds. So
this is the sticker. I don't know. It doesn't show up here in the interface of StreamYard.
No,
I guess all of you can see it.
It just says super sticker. Which
thank you, Lawrence Martin.
Very cool of you, and thank you to you, Lawrence, because we love doing this. So like you guys coming in and joining us and showing support on both the channels, as well as all the other drone channels out there, and other channels. It doesn't have to be drone channels. I went through a phase just recently where I didn't watch any drone channels at all. I was watching roller coaster channels, like watching first-person view roller coaster channels. That's all I was watching for a couple of weeks.
You know what I've been watching lately? Sound recorder videos.
What is that?
External sound recorders.
Oh,
I am so sick of this one.
I told you to buy the Tascam.
Yeah, you did.
I told you.
And you told me. And another thing that's really, it has been nice, but it eats battery like crazy. This one. So
I'm still going on. I've only gone through 2 sets of batteries on my Tascam. I
read that. But what I'm buying this time is the DR40X. And apart from being able to take a line-in mic, it can take 2 XLRs in the bottom. So if I want to do interviews or something like that, you would just hook up 2 XLR condenser microphones, and then we can do some interviews. I have a cunning plan that I have a guy that I want to interview about the drone regulations, and I need the proper gear to do that interview with him.
Yeah, I'm actually. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm setting up, you can see the speaker there. This is like the setup for my old band stuff and the room here. And I'm going to be setting it up so that I can have better audio. I'm going to actually finally break out my old recording gear. And hopefully that will change my audio in my live shows too. I want to incorporate that to this. But let me show you this clip of me getting in the water real quick.
You have funny. Okay, so you basically filmed it.
Yeah. Well, Gina got one clip of me in the water in in my skivvies when I was frozen. And she got so worried about me, she didn't film or do anything else once she saw how cold I was, because I could barely move by the end of it to get out. My legs were just locked up.
That would be the biggest problem, is that you get more or less paralyzed when you're in that cold conditions.
Oh, it's so cold. But let's see, we got somebody here. We got to hide there. Now that I'm a mod, we got you can. Let's see, I can't. Sorry, I was trying to fix something in the chat. I got sidetracked.
Hearing your music will be awesome, Sean Ozz.
Sunrise Media, if you want to hear my music, it's old, but before I show this video, I will post a link to my old band channel. And I'll show you this video, and then I probably myself have to get going shortly. Okay, that is not it. It sucks when you think you have an original name, and then all of a sudden you realize so many people years later have the same thing going on.
You should listen to Lawrence here. He's a pretty wise guy. Just take this one and put it up here first.
Okay, here you go. If you wanted to hear my music, that is a link to my old band channel. It is not active anymore, but there you go. All right.
Oh, I need to put it up. Well, where is it? Which one is it?
The link I just posted in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
That is the old band channel. So if you're into
this one.
Post-punk music, sort of a goth post-punk, alternative kind of sounds. So if you're into that, that's what we used to do before I moved up here. But yeah, if you want to share the screen, Henrik, I'll play the video of the water.
So here's an interesting question that we might be able to answer.
What did we miss?
So I can I play this? I'm not getting demonetized if I do something with that.
No, you can play it. It's fine.
So I'll just mess around with this. Maybe we can this one, because we can both relate to this. Then I will see if I can get hold of this link somewhere.
Tim, it is incredibly hard starting a YouTube channel to get views. I am not one that likes to spam content, so I don't post my stuff on Facebook. I let YouTube pretty much do all the pushing for me. I pretty much, at the beginning, you do need to share it and try to get some friends to view it. One of the things you don't want to do is get people to just subscribe to subscribe. Because if you do sub for sub, it actually ends up hurting your channel. People who subscribe to you and then they don't watch your content, well, that actually hurts your content. And that's one of the problems, even as a bigger channel, you start to see too. Because I post all kinds of content. I'm not just doing drones. I do a lot of action stuff. I do a lot of vlogs, and it's all mixed together. So if I post a video, say I'm working on one right now that we filmed last year, going to Six Flags in Vegas, and I post that, and all my drone guys, they don't click on it. They don't watch it. And YouTube first pushes your stuff out in front of people that subscribe to you. And if your subscribers don't click it, then YouTube goes, oh, it must not be a good video. And then they don't push it to anybody else. They don't typically push a video out based on what it is. They first push it out to your subscribers. If it gets watched, then they push it out further. If it doesn't, you can sometimes never even get views on that video, and that sucks. So my advice is to start out with searchable terms. So if you do a video, well, you've got a drone in your picture there. So let's say you're doing Mavic Air 2 stuff. Think very hard on what you as a viewer would search when you're on YouTube. Mavic Air review, maybe. There's a lot of reviews. So now you got to make it more specific. Mavic Air sensor review or something like that. Something more specific to narrow it down so that your stuff pops up in searches. And that's what I would suggest.
I could come up with I'm just I'm very bad at multitasking here. So that's the wrong one. Let me
are you playing one of my old band videos?
Yes, I'm trying to do that, but I need to share the music.
Oh, so, no.
Yeah, you brought it. so let's just pull it up here.
Oh, this is opening for Peter Murphy. This is a good one. If you click on the Tim Moore chat, there you go. Oh, I miss this so much. audio doesn't come off so good when you.
Oh, that's a bit. It's clipping a little bit. But you are handling it that pretty well. Can you still do that?
Yeah, I have the guitar in the car behind me. Oh, I missed it so much. I tell you, Henrik, this is one of the coolest parts of my life.
Huh? So let's just put that on. We can throw in a link for that one in the comment as well. So
yeah. So if you're not familiar with who Peter Murphy is, he is actually the singer from Bauhaus. He's considered the godfather of goth.
Okay.
So Bauhaus was pretty big through the 80s and the 90s, and then they broke up, and he went solo and had a couple of great albums, and we got to open for him. So that was a huge highlight in my life.
Yeah. What I wanted to say before about how to get inspired to make new videos, you can do the ABC method. Simply go to the YouTube search bar and then simply write in Mavic Air 2 and then start space A and then see what it auto completes with, and shift that to B, C, D, E, and then you might get some ideas for searchable terms, because the reason why they pop up there and that they're being auto completed is because people actually search for it. And of course, if you make a Mavic Air 2 video that is that's just called Mavic Air 2, that will drown in search results, no questions asked. Your channel needs a certain authority to be able to rank for the shorter keywords. So go for longer keywords. Then I think you will find out that people will start to watch your content. And then you need to work on keeping the attention of the viewer, because that's the next metric that's important, is that if you could get the majority of people to watch more than 50% of your video, you have a better chance of YouTube actually suggesting your videos to an audience that is interested in drones.
And that's the hard part, because people
that's difficult.
Fast. This is funny for me. I don't know anyone else who makes content. For me, coming up with ideas is easy. I have 2 books here.
Yeah.
Full, absolutely full of YouTube videos that I put together. And then here, this one, I've now narrowed it down and made a list with so many. I'm up to 156 video ideas right now that I need to actually use more. Yeah. So
you
I can't stop. Anytime I think of something, I just write down the idea. And here, and some of them are completely not drone related. Like, let me read you some of these. Number 146. I do my girlfriend's makeup. Make a video about that. Right? Number 148. Freddy Krueger snowboarding, because I do special effects makeup. So I would show how I make the makeup, and then I would go out and snowboard as Freddy Krueger.
You actually made some. You made what was the zombie last time?
Yeah, hold on, let me grab it real quick.
You see why it's fun to hang around Sean? It's he has a lot of stuff going on that is completely not everyday-ish.
All right, I'm back. You there?
Yeah, that is.
This is a silicone that I made of Freddy Krueger. And whenever it was first done, the edges were real thin. You just blend it onto your face. Yeah. It was super stretchy, so it moves with you everywhere, because it's a super soft silicone. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see all the.
Yeah, I can recognize those. I was a big fan of that show. Those films when they were published in the 80s, I guess.
I mean, you see right there. That's a Freddy Krueger glove, a real one.
Yeah, it is.
That's been in my videos for a long time in the background, and most people never even notice it.
Together with your plate?
Yeah, the one that Gina made me for 1,000 subscribers. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's just tons and tons of these ideas in here. Let's go back. Maybe you guys can make, if you like any of these ideas, make a video about it.
Sean, there's a lot of questions to you. You need to go in the chat before you are leaving.
See here, we got a zoom range test, OcuSync 2.0 versus the original Mavic Air Pro Evo. Some of these are outdated now. Why I got the zoom instead of the Mavic 2 Pro. Mavic zoom gimbal secret, moving it with your finger. Like I said, some of these are outdated because I write them all down and I don't get to make most of them.
But it's good to have this big bunch of ideas.
Oh yeah, there's story-based ones in here too. And then I have spare pieces of paper laying around the studio with whole little stories written on them everywhere too. Yeah.
So let's see.
That's how I do it.
Whenever you. How about more tattoo videos, like making time lapse of your work?
I think I have one. I put it on my channel, and here's the problem: is when I put them on my channel, they don't do so good because, like I was saying earlier, if my drone guys don't watch them, then they don't get seen very well.
Oh, did we hear?
I'll show you. Here, I'll post this in the. Here you go. There's a tattoo time lapse channel right there, and I can share it. It's pretty short, I think, but if Henrik wants, I'll share the screen in this, and then we'll get back to the other one.
We need the one where you jump in the water.
Yeah, we're getting sidetracked again.
That happens all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys can just watch that one. That's a time lapse. I put the link in the thing. But the one in the water, let me get it back up here. We'll get back on track here before we run out of time.
Okay, so what do I need to do? I can.
Okay, it should be there. You should be able to share it now.
Okay, so I do this. Let me take this one away.
Okay. So the audio should work. I think I turned it on.
Yesterday I went in my skivvies.
Hey Sean, what are you doing?
Well, I lost my GoPro in the water.
Shit, man.
Oh, I don't have time to talk.
All right.
Oh my God, it's so cold. It's so stinking cold. And it's deep. Holy shit, it's cold. Oh, I feel those rocks.
But that's a lost battle.
The current is really strong.
And the current was so much stronger than it
So
looks.
strong, I can't even walk past it.
Today, I now have waterproof waders, so let's get changed and see what we can find.
Now that's in front of me.
Look, the same spot now.
Trying not to. I can't stay still. Oh, I'm hoping that the Joby pod. Oh, so cool.
Off the edge of the stream, a lot of the times you can find little.
So that's it. That's a little bit.
That looked like a.
I'm not going to tell you if I found it or not.
No. You probably put a video out.
But I will tell you again and again. I put a little fun thing. You notice the little numbers that were popping up on the screen?
Yeah.
I went through, and every time I said cold or freezing, I made a number. And there's quite a bit. So if you want to guess at how many times I said the water's cold, that video was quite a few times.
Many times. All right. I think I will not keep you here much longer. It has been super, super fun. And I hope everybody has enjoyed this new type of format. And also super thank you for all the super chats. That is really, really appreciated. You can still hit the like button if you like what you saw. And you can also hit the dislike button twice. So I think that will be the outgoing comment from here. And thank you, Sean, for joining me here tonight.
Always a pleasure, Henrik.
And take care, everyone.
Later, everybody. Thanks again for everyone in the chat for helping out Henrik grow his channel. Remember, go through, find one of his videos that you like, and share it with your friends, because that is how we grow.
Share the crap out of it.
Because sharing is caring. That's my slogan. That's mine. I'm keeping with that one.
Okay, that's okay. You keep that one. See ya.
Then you just got to click in live stream.